here we go. Yeah, I did the PowerPoint today. Okay, Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. This is our hadith class, our last hadith class for tonight. And this is based on the book entitled Beware, written by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli. And you can purchase this book and all the other books we use by going to www.atlionline.com. And I like this book because these are different hadiths in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us to beware of things. Beware of things that can, cause harm to us. For example, let's look at this hadith for today. It's narrated by Jabir ibn Abdullah. He said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, beware of talking after the night is still, because none of you know what creatures Allah will send. So lock your doors, tie up the water skins, cover your dishes, and put out the lanterns. And this hadith is from Adab al-Mufrad. Let's talk about this hadith. A lot of people read this hadith and they'll take it to the extreme and say it's haram to talk after Isha. That is not what this hadith is saying. That's not what it's saying. That's not what it's saying. They'll also read this hadith and they'll say vampires exist. I've heard that. People say vampires exist and the vampires come out at night. So lock your doors, put garlic up on your doors, and put out your lights because the vampires will come out and bite you. I've heard this, no lie. What the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is speaking about in this hadith are the jinn. And by the way, there's another version of this hadith in Sahih Muslim. And that the Muslim is explained it so perfectly and makes better sense. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said every day when the sun goes down, that's when the Ifrit come out. Who are the Ifrit? These are the most dangerous of the jinn. The Ifrit come out at Maghrib. When the sun is setting, that's when the Ifrit come out. Okay? And when they come out, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, bring the children in the house. Close your doors, close your windows, cover up your food so that should they walk past your house, they won't have anything to eat. You're not inviting them in. He said a jinn cannot open a door. A jinn cannot remove a cover off of something. So at Maghrib, after you pray, call the children in, close the door and windows, and then at Isha time, you can open the windows back up. At Isha, you can let the kids go back out because that's the time that the Ifrit, which are the most dangerous of all jinn, come out. That's the meaning of this hadith, okay? And the Prophet is not telling us it's haram to talk. What he was saying in this version, he was telling them, stop talking so much because this is why you have to know the story. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was at the mosque. He had led the people in prayer. And there was a group of men sitting there talking. Just trivial talk. They weren't talking about nothing of importance. They were Bedouins who had just taken Shahada. And the Prophet told them, you talk too much. Spend less time talking and go home to your families. Go home to your families right now. Close the doors. Make sure that your wives cover up the food and stuff. Because this is the time of night that the ifrit, the worst jinn, come out. That's what this hadith is speaking about. The prophet was admonishing. He was admonishing a group of men who were hanging around the masjid, just trivial talking. That's why it's important to know the story behind these hadiths. Otherwise, you'll be walking around saying, Astaghfirullah, I can't talk. Why come you can't talk? It's nighttime. Are you out your mind? And again, this is until Isha. I want y'all to remember, until Isha. Let me tell you what I do, because this stuff is real. If you notice, when it starts getting dark outside, that's when all that bad stuff happens. People start getting popped. You want to get popped? Get your behind in the house when those lights come on. What did your mom tell you when you were a kid? Get your butt in the house when the lights come on. Okay? Close the door. Close the windows. You're going to get popped. Cover up that food. And then after the sun has finished setting, Isha is when it begins, when the sun has set. That's when you can open the doors back up. That's all this hadith is saying. It's just telling us to take the precautions, to understand that the most fierce of the jinn, come out at Maghrib. Okay? That's when you need to be reciting the Falak and the Nas. That's when you need to be playing Surah Al-Baqarah. So, because if you play Surah Al-Baqarah, even Iblis will walk past your house. So instead of hanging around here gossiping, instead of hanging around here in the marketplace with trivial talk, instead of hanging out at the mall like a lot of you sisters do, y'all at the mall shopping, you better get your butt home at Maghrib, or you can become a casualty of the jinn. That's all this is saying. So any questions about this hadith? Or let me go to his lessons learned too, by the way. Let's look at Sheikh Atli's lessons learned. See what he got here. He's got here that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam always warned us against that which is harmful to us. Exactly. He got the same thing I got here. He said a Muslim should keep his children, animals inside when the nighttime comes. Exactly. Also, a Muslim should cover his vessels, even if it's with a stick. And a Muslim should keep his doors closed at night because the evil's doors and shaitan can't open a door. Good job, Sheikh Atli. And also a Muslim should make sure to read the dhikr, the Falak, the Nas, Ikhlas in the morning, evening, and when entering and exiting the house. Good job. Yeah, so his understanding of the hadith is the same as mine. So again, this hadith is not saying it's haram to talk or you can't go out the house. It's talking about between the time of Maghrib and Isha. Instead of wasting your time in the streets like a lot of you do, get your butt in the house when them lights come on. After Isha, you can go on back out and take care of your business. But right now, go home and make sure the kids are fine. Make sure that the kids is getting their bath and getting ready for school. That your wife got their food covered up. Then you can go on back outside. Simple. See, the religion ain't hard. We're not superstitious people. These are just advices that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us to help make our lives, less stressful. Okay, any comments about this hadith?